Probably in 2025, we at Meta are going to have an AI that can effectively be a sort of mid-level engineer that can write code.
So Mark Zuckerberg has just threatened us that AI is going to replace not junior but mid-level software engineers. This similar kind of threat we received from NVIDIA CEO just a few months ago, and just have a look what he said.
Almost everybody who sits on a stage like this would tell you it is vital that your children learn computer science. Everybody should learn how to program. And in fact, it's almost exactly the opposite. It is our job to create computing technology such that nobody has to program.
So his point of view is that AI is going to be so smart that no one will have to write any code. There is a similar kind of comment by Salesforce CEO when he said that they are not hiring software engineers anymore in 2025 because agentic AI has increased their productivity by at least by 30%. But Mark Zuckerberg's threat is more serious, and in this video we'll try to understand that how serious this is for mid-level and junior software engineers, and what should be the next plan of action for all of the software engineers and new programmers who are learning to write code. First of all, let's try to understand what is the definition of a junior software developer and a mid-level software developer and a senior software developer. I have created this simple comparison between junior, mid-level and a senior software engineer. If you don't know anything about me, I am a software engineer myself, and I have been hiring software engineers for the last 10 years now. I was running a game development studio, a digital agency and a software house in different times in last 10 years. And so far I have hired around 300 software engineers for various different projects. So probably I'm the right person to talk on this topic. So when we are hiring a junior level software engineer, these are the specifications that we are actually looking for. That person should be able to understand requirements that we're giving them, and should be able to write a clean code, and should be able to become part of our team, and should be able to communicate between a UI designer and a project manager. Then there is a mid-level software engineers, and I have most of my experience working with mid-level software engineers, because most of these software engineers are actually someone who have worked on various different projects. They have learned several different languages. Now most of the times they can work on front and back end. They usually have good experience of understanding complex requirements, working on complex projects, and most of the times they have really good tech stack of front end, back end and database of things. Then comes the senior software engineer, and it's really difficult to find a senior software engineer, because by the time they become senior, they either just give up on writing code, or they have promoted to project manager, or they were just smart and kind of entrepreneurial people. They launched a couple of software projects that got hit, and now they made millions out of it, and now they're not interested in doing any sort of job, and now they started their own company, or maybe just resting on a beach. But yeah, these are the rare kind of dinosaurs that is really difficult to find. But yeah, I mean, if you'll find them, so they are highly experienced software engineers with experience of leading teams and project management, and then creating requirements document as well. They are highly experienced in managing any sort of software project. And Mark Zuckerberg has precisely mentioned that they are replacing mid-level software engineers. That means the newcomers and junior software engineers has already been replaced by AI. Well, to be honest, if you have worked on any of these AI code editors, something like Cursor, something like Windsurf, something like A.dev, so all of these tools have already replaced junior level software engineers. If you understand what you're developing, so I think you can do a job of a mid-level software engineer if you understand what kind of software you are building. Because in Cursor, I have personally worked on various different projects and have actually finished a lot of projects using Cursor without writing a single line of code. Cursor, Windsurf, GitHub Copilot, and this kind of native code editors have really smart agentic functionality that can build your entire backend, that can develop the entire interface and front end for your projects. So they are already doing really good job at whatever you can expect from a mid-level software engineer. I would like to mention Devon here, because they claim to be world's first software engineer for $500 per month. But the problem is all of these people who have tried Devon on YouTube have really bad reviews about Devon, especially this guy. In his latest video, he has explained that how bad Devon is, and every time he tries to create something or do something with Devon, or ask Devon to create something basic even, it just messes up the entire code. So we got one public example of an agentic software engineer that is not performing as we expected to. We are not sure about Meta's internal AI that you are using, how smart that is, and how better it is than Devon AI. But when it comes to using Cursor and Windsurf and this kind of AI coding agents, anyone with basic understanding of programming languages can actually build something really sophisticated with front end, backend and database and anything that you can actually expect from a mid-level software engineer. So the skills and capability of a mid-level software engineer has already been replaced by Cursor AI and Windsurf and this kind of like native AI code editors. So we all know that Mark Zuckerberg is right. Based on the current definition of a mid-level software engineer, he's right. I mean, it can be replaced with an AI agent. What's the future of software engineers then? Are all of us going to be replaced by AI and we'll have to like choose a different career? Well, if you have never developed a complex software, a software that require multiple people, or in fact like multiple teams from management to design team, then programming team, then testing team, if you have never worked on that kind of software, you might be thinking that, okay, this is the end of software engineers. But myself, as I told you, that I have been in this business for last 10 years and I can tell you that this is not scary at all for me. Okay, most of you who are from Pakistan, India, Bangladesh are from like that part of world will understand this term. We have a term which is called sweatshops. What is a sweatshop? These are like small companies where we hire like programmers and coders and then we like get projects from freelancing platforms, something like Fiverr, Upwork, and then we like kind of use those programmers and coders to develop those softwares. I have a sweatshop, of course, and we have worked on like several projects and like all of those people who had like software degrees, but they knew nothing about programming. So we hire them on internship, we teach them how to write code, and now they are capable of like writing any sort of code that we tell them to write. Sometimes these programmers perform really good. And in fact, if they are like keep working on as a programmer, so they become like really good programmer. Anyone who can write a really good code, they can like become that and they can like write syntax of programming like really good. But if you have worked with this kind of software engineers and if you wanna like hire them independently to develop a complex software, they will not be able to do that because they don't know how to make algorithms. They don't know like how to plan a software, because in software development, writing program and writing syntax of a code is the bare minimum in that entire development process. In that entire development process, there is like requirements gathering, there is like management, there is like then pre-planning, then there is like user interface designing, and then creating different screens. And let's suppose if you're like working on something serious, so it can have like up to thousands of screens, and then you need to like have all of that. Then you need like different layers of your management to work on that project. And then at last, when everything is now, because we design those technical documents, technical diagrams, we decide the architecture of the software, and then we prepare a technical document that has almost even like the name of functions and the name of the variables and everything finalized and decided, and then we provide that to our programmer, and then programmer kind of translates that document into code inside Visual Studio. That person is now replaced by AI agent. But there is still a lot of work that is needed to be done to build a robust software. And for that work, you still need an intelligent human. Of course, you can use like Chatgpt and this kind of like tools to build like a basic software requirement document, but still you need a human to build a logic, to build algorithms, to build like to plan that entire software. You still need humans. So here is my prediction. My prediction is, and this is actually happening right now, that the definitions of software engineers and job descriptions and job roles of software engineers are just like changing and being redefined, because AI can now write code. So now software engineers have to be, other than being a programmer, they have to become what we call software architects. So they are going to be software architects who can now maybe kind of like do a job of a programmer and a product manager. So that product manager is capable of like creating those documents, and then kind of like then he's not capable of writing code. So now programmer and product manager capability is now combined and joined, and now to be like a software architect that who can like build a sophisticated software without writing code. So the definition of software engineer is just changing a little bit, because if you were relying if your skill was just to write the syntax of code, so that was kind of done, or you can say replaced by GitHub Copilot. I think in 2021, I remember there was a blockchain project that we were like working on. It was like really big project. So all of that project was kind of developed by using GitHub Copilot, because GitHub Copilot was not very famous back then, and ChatGPT was not introduced back then, but still like we're using that to optimize our like software development process. So if you just like want to build GPT wrappers or like build basics, and your only skill or the only thing that you bring on table is writing code or syntax of code, so AI can do better, way better job than you can do. And if you as a human being can bring your own creativity and like can build more complex processes, innovate things in like, and then like build workflows and like build complex softwares and like have capability of working, like translating what management team is saying and then what is needed to be implemented on ground, what UI design that person has the requirements. So you combine all of those, being a software engineer, being a software architect, then you will have actually capability to not only survive but thrive. And one more prediction here is most of the software engineers, there will be like less jobs in future for like the traditional software engineer, because this transition will take time. The most of the software engineers will move towards entrepreneurship because now they have like capability of like writing code using an AI agent. Now they can like build processes. So most of the software engineer will actually move towards or become more entrepreneurial, and they will like launch more like solutions or things that are normal project manager or are non-technical who can use cursor but they cannot build, but software engineers can still like build better and sophisticated products. So yeah, this is what I see. I think software engineers will actually become more kind of free and more independent and more entrepreneurial now. Most of people I see like they have already like started like developing their own solutions already. So yeah, in terms of like the opportunities, like there are huge opportunities out there to like innovate and build softwares ourselves and then redefine or like recreate that definition of a software engineer. So yeah, I think this was my 2 cents on that. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please don't forget to subscribe this YouTube channel, and I see you next video. Bye bye.